Hey guys, it's Morgan from Highland Cycles. Welcome back to another weekly Shlog or shop vlog here in Montrose, Colorado at my little motorcycle shop where we work mostly dirt bikes. Every now and then an adventure bike or something like that will sneak in here, but we don't do any four-wheeled stuff. We don't do snowmobiles, just motorcycles and generally just dirt bikes. So if you're new here, make sure you stick around, watch this whole video. This is our weekly deal where we show you all the kind of stuff that happens at a shop. Small independent shop in Western Colorado, like working on this or working on that, or Angry Zach over there throwing things at a brand new gas, which he definitely considered was a beta. Long story about that. But anyway, oh, actually, I take it back. We do work on street bikes, especially if they're that one. If you guys have been here before, you've seen this lovely motorcycle here. That is a 1986 RZ 350. I'm not sure why it's here. I got to talk to Leandra. Probably maintenance. You know, it's an old bike. It needs things, but stoked on that. I love that motorcycle. Anyway, that's what we do here. If that sounds like fun, here we go. All right, guys. First and foremost, I have to thank the largest sponsor of the channel, Mountain ATV MC. They are huge for us. They help us out. I love that company. They're employee owned. They really do support the sport 100%. Now, I'm a big proponent of you guys shopping local first. I really do believe you should shop local first, but if that doesn't work or you need to get something that your local shop can't get, please consider using the link in our description for Rocky Mountain ATV. It helps us out. You still save all the same money. You get the free shipping, the Rocky Mountain cash. Nothing changes on your end. We just get a little bit of a kickback, and I very much appreciate it. Also, full transparency, I am trying to earn money on YouTube, so it is not, I don't want this to be a surprise that I'm actually trying to make a living here, as well as make my shop run well too. So, first things first, we have this 350 SX, yeah. 350 SXF. It's been here before. This one had a bad pulsar coil, I believe, and we got it fixed and it was running. This is like one of the bikes. We had this string of 350s, this era of 350 that had nothing but problems. This one we got running good. He swore he was going to sell it because this bike's been a problem. Other things, it's just, yeah, it wasn't the best purchase, but now I guess it doesn't start again, so I confirmed that. The battery's a little low. That's part of it. Also, it does look like you can see the light came on. So usually that means that the pulsar coil is working, because at least partially working, because that's how these bikes turn on all the electronics, the fuel pump, ignition, and everything, is that they feel the pulsar coil, like the magnet spin past the pulsar coil. That's what turns everything on. And there's a relay in here, turns everything on, and so it's good. Also, I can hear the fuel pump run. Hear that? So fuel pump's running. Now, this thing had all kinds of weird issues that another shop in town was, it's a long story. They're like, oh yeah, we can fix that thing, because I was like, man, I don't know, because it wouldn't throw a code, it wouldn't do anything weird. I just couldn't get it to start, and it turns out there was something in the harness, like some wires jacked up in the harness, and so they got it, that thing, but they also did a fuel pump and all kinds of other things, and it still was weird. And then he brought it to me. I figured out the pulsar coil. We got that taken care of. It started and ran, and he rode it a fair amount with no issues. So not sure what's going on, but what we're going to do is we're going to get some brake cleaner and we're going to spray it right in there, and see if it starts, see if it's a fuel pump, because I think the pump that's got put in it is aftermarket, and that's not bad. We use a lot of aftermarket fuel pumps, and they generally work, but you know, things happen. Also, guys, I'm going to film this entire episode of the Shlog on Insta360 cameras. I'm using the Ace Pro, the Ace Pro 2, and the X4. So let me know what you think. I'm also using my mic hooked up to those cameras, so hopefully the sound is still very good, and that all works good for you. I might need to take the seat off and get a jump pack on this thing, because like I said, that just does not sound like it's turning over very fast. So let's do that first, and then yeah, we'll spray some brake cleaner in there and see if it starts like that. Oh, I'm good. I'm tearing apart motorcycles, you know, that's what we do. Somewhere between 750 and 800 cc's. I usually do 800. Yeah, expecting it to slip. All right, bye. I'll do better. A little bit of brake clean in there. Let's see if it starts. It's always my first test because it's easy, you know, to really take much apart, and then we'll know if it does fire up. Well, we know we got a fuel problem. If it doesn't, then we go deeper. All right, fuel is not the issue. That's okay. Now, let's get this tank off and dig in and see if we can't find, see if it's sparking. Huh. All right, guys, since it was the pulsar last time, I'm just going to go ahead and test that real fast since I'm right here, even before I take the spark plug out. It's super easy. Let me show you. On almost every KTM, at least I believe it's almost every one, you can see it's this blue connector. And this side goes to the harness, this side goes to the actual coil, which is down in there, and it's usually a red and green. So let's grab our meter and we're going to check resistance first. All right, set our meter to ohms. I'm going to go in here. All right, it seems to, ooh, we've actually got a blink code here. Hang on one second. We've got a blink code happening, so I'm going to count some blinks here. All right, guys, it's saying, I just looked up, the too short is crankshaft position sensor, so the pulsar coil, which is the one we just replaced. So I'm going to get in there, take this cover off. I'm going to pull that off, make sure that we didn't get any wires loose that pinched or something like that, because it did run for a while, and I think I did a good job. But we did have to wire it in because we bought it aftermarket, because I can't remember, they might not even be available for these bikes anymore. And it was definitely bad. So check that. The 41, the 4 long and 1, that's the fuel pump, which makes sense because it's unhooked. It's gonna, do that. And then 13, let's see what that one was. Forgot it. I forgot to look at that. Air temp sensor. So that's not too much of a trouble, because that would mean it would just maybe not go to the right, default to the right map. And that, I believe, is this guy right here. So make sure it didn't come, it's not unplugged, so whatever, we can fix that. That's easy. And again, the bike should start without that. So before I even deal with the spark plug, because honestly it's easier to take this ignition cover off than it is to get the spark plug out of these things. Let's drain the oil, pull that off, and take a look inside. All right, guys. I actually really like this camera. I like the way it looks. Some folks were complaining about it moving too much and the sound, you know, too much breathing. So we'll try to fix that. I get that. You don't want to hear me sitting puffing and puffing. I totally understand that, but I generally like the way it looks, and I like the fact that my hands are here. You guys can see stuff going on. So we're going to keep using it. Also, I'm trying to maybe use my mic. I don't know what's going to happen here, so so for starters, that is the pulsar coil. Unfortunately, it's still in place. So that's good. And it was still, like I said, making, or you know, had decent resistance. But I'm wondering if it's hitting. I don't know, but you can see my little connections there. Let's pull this off and make sure those are still good. I mean, if they were totally junk, you wouldn't get any resistance out of it. It doesn't look like it's been getting hit by anything. Let's see. I have an idea of something else to check. Got our back probe kit here from Cornwell. No affiliation, just so we got green and red. Might as well match it colors, huh? Let's go. And like that. We'll get our meter. What we're doing now, guys, is we're gonna get this set up, and with these back probes, with these alligator clips, I can let go of them and I can wiggle these wires and see if we get a change, because if that's happening, then that will be part of our problem. So there we go. So you see that when it hits some steel, the magnet does something, changes a bunch. So I'm wondering if it is just bad. Something inside there. So check that out. When I let it magnetize, it jumps high. So I'm thinking we got a problem inside that, and that's a bummer. So I'm gonna see if I can get an OEM one. I don't know where I'm maybe gonna find one, but we're gonna check that out and we'll go from there. All right, guys, ended up finding a pulsar coil in a box. Long story short, but a customer of ours gave us a whole bunch of just KTM parts that he had laying around, and this one looks brand new. I mean, it's like it's been sitting in a box for a while, but everything looks new. Let's check it real quick with a meter. Test it. It's the same plug, same wire color, everything like that. It might not be the exact same bike, but they're all basically the same. All right, so right around 100 ohms. Let's plug this sucker in and see if it works. I'm not going to show you up close, whatever, you guys already saw that. So let's get this in and see if this thing will start. All right, guys, got it back together. Let's see what we got. Aha. Boom, just like that. Super happy about that. I don't know what actually happened to that other pulser coil. I don't know if it just went bad because it was probably Chinese. I don't know. I got it from Ricky Stater. I can't remember who I bought it from. It's either Rick's Motorsports or Ricky Stater. Either way, one of them makes that and sells a ton of them, I think. And my guess is they don't actually make them there. They probably buy them from China. And we got one that worked okay for a little bit, but we went bad. So we put an OEM one in there. We're all good now. Super happy. Get this back to this customer. Like I said, he's probably going to sell it because it's got all sorts of other things. It needs fork seals and all sorts of things. So actually, might be doing fork seals because it could use that like before you sell it. So yeah, stay tuned and find out what he wants to do. All right, guys, next on the lift is this Beta Xtrainer. It's actually going to be for sale very, very soon. Our good friend Donnie Reddington, who owns School of Moto, SKOOL of Moto. They do a lot of training and teaching. It is her bike. She just got a new 300 gas, actually. She's moved up to a big full-size motorcycle from this Xtrainer. She really likes the Xtrainer, but she really wanted to try a bigger bike. And so, yeah, this sucker's going down the road. We're going to go through it and make sure everything's good. One thing she wanted me to check was its idling, and seems to idle fine to me. It's got a Lectron on it, which is definitely not my favorite carburetor, but it works, I don't know, it seems to work just fine. So probably not going to do anything. I might adjust the idle, maybe, if it, I don't know. I need to get it hot, like go ride it around, but it's super snowy outside right now, so not going to be doing that right away, but seems okay to me right now. She does live at a higher elevation, like by quite a bit, so it might be that it was just, you know, up there, needed an adjustment with the idle or a metering rod adjustment up there. I'm not sure, but down here seems to be working just fine. So next thing she wants me to do is go through and make sure there's nothing just like glaringly that needs to be fixed before it goes for sale. And the first thing I'm noticing, you guys may have already noticed it, is that routing on the brake hose. Oh man, I can't tell you how many people do that. But so we're going to fix that. We're going to move that on the inside where it belongs. Then I'm going to go around and we're going to check for, you know, wheel bearings. We're going to go back and forth like this, and that seems good. We're going to do the back one. Make sure it seems good. It's nice and tight. Looking at the chain sprockets. Chain needs some lube, but otherwise it seems to be okay. It's not super loose, just a little bit dry and a little bit of rust on there. So we'll clean that up, make sure it's good. We're going to do an oil change. We're going to clean the air filter. Air filter is actually in pretty good shape, but we're going to make it fresh and nice so that when someone buys this thing, it's ready to rock and roll. We'll check the coolant. We'll check all the nuts and bolts, make sure everything's good on this thing, nothing's loose. We'll go through, we'll torque all the pinch bolts on things, so fork pinch bolts, axle pinch bolts, things like that. We'll hit it with the torque wrench, make sure we're good. Like, as long as they're tight, they're okay. These are the only ones that are a real concern. If you over tighten these, you can squeeze this tube just a little bit, and when the inner tube goes up and down, it'll wear the anodizing off of there. And anyway, and that's not a beta thing, that's an everybody thing. That's why KTM has the torque specs on the triple clamps, so that you don't do that. Yeah, we'll check all the controls, make sure they're all working like they're supposed to. Brakes look good. They plenty of pad on those. Let's see what the fronts look like. Have not actually checked those yet. They look pretty good. So in general, this bike is in very good shape. Just a couple little things, and then we're going to clean it. I think I'm going to have Easton do a super duper clean on it, probably for one of his last things he does here. He's getting ready to leave and go learn how to be a plumber, which is really cool because it's a great trade. So yeah, have him do a super duper polish on this thing and make it look really, really nice. And she said she'd pay him extra just for that, which is cool. because he's a young kid, needs some help. And it's got a left-hand rear brake on it. Guys will check that. Those are always can be a bit of a problem. It feels good to me, I think. I think it feels it's a little bit squishy, so might bleed that. Make sure it's good. Does not have a recluse, so she runs that and the clutch with her left hand, which that's hard. I don't know. I'm not that talented. Yeah, if I find anything obviously super interesting, I'll bring you guys in. Otherwise, I'm going to set you guys down, get this done, and we'll get on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is actually my Beta, the 300RR Race Edition. I'm going to be doing a fork service on this. They finally started leaking. We've got the Dalsagio spheres in this thing, so I'm going to film a specific separate video about that, how to service the spheres, because I think it's a good thing for people to know how to actually do the whole thing, including bladder, all that stuff. So I'm going to film that separately. I will bring you guys in Shlog-wise here on little bits. I'm taking a look here. I'm just trying to... Okay, I thought I saw a scratch, but there was no scratch. That's good. Just oil residue. So I also just filmed a short video on how to straighten the front end of your dirt bike, so make sure you check that thing out. And yeah, let's get after it. Now we're going to take this, we're going to drop it down in. Add a little bit more. I'd rather have a little too much than not enough, because it will bleed out. There's a little bleed right here. And for me, for enduro stuff, I like to run about 25 pounds. So final part, always push on them, make sure they feel like they're moving like they should. You'll know if there's anything sticky or weird. You just want to catch that now before you put it on the bike and then have something bad happen. There we go, guys. All right, guys, next on the lift is this little KTM 65SX. I think it was on an earlier Shlog. Struggling with the Lectron that's on it. The bike starts and runs, but it just does not pick up off the bottom very well. And that has been my experience in general with Lectrons. The low-end performance is not as good as other carburetors. It's not. I'm not just super bagging on Lectrons here, guys. I don't love them, but I get why people like them. They are relatively insensitive to elevation changes. They're not nearly what they claim, but they work okay. The problem is on a two-stroke, there's no, well, on any stroke, four-stroke, two-stroke, since there's no pilot circuit, like when you whack the throttle and you need it to pick up, there's only the one hole, right? There's only the one hole with the metering rod in it for gas to come out of, and it just cannot deliver enough gas quickly. They work okay, and if you're smooth, if you really want just smooth, mellow performance, then they're okay, because you roll the gas on, they work just fine. But if you want to whack, nail it, they just don't pick up quite as good as off the bottom. Now, I'm speaking to the old ones. I don't know about all the new ones, the Pro and the Billetron, whatever. Although I don't feel like the Billetron works that great. At least the original Billetron, because my buddy Foxy Bibbs bought one and he didn't like it because of that. But on this guy, since there's less vacuum, it's a smaller bike, it can pull even less out of that one main hole, and it's exaggerated how lazy it is off the bottom. So got the guy to bring me the original carburetor. He bought the bike, I think, with this carburetor on it, and so he didn't have all the parts. But fortunately, I had a spare carburetor with the slide and a needle and all that good stuff. So we did have to order a spring for the slide, the return spring. So we got that. We're going to yank this thing off, put the other carburetor back on here, and see if we can't make this thing run right. They run really good wide open. which is why they were designed, because they were originally designed for road race two-strokes that spend most of the time up high in the RPM. So they do work very well for that. But they only have the one hole, there you go, right there, where the metering rod goes. So it's like as if you took this out, this pilot jet out, so you don't have this constant dribble of gas that is always ready to dump fuel when you twist the throttle. Because when you twist the throttle, that raises this slide. And since it's a two-stroke, it doesn't have an accelerator pump. So you twist it, and all of a sudden there's just a whole bunch of air and not enough gas. So that pilot circuit helps that to compensate for that, because it's ready. It's already dribbling gas even when the slide's closed, because even when the slide's closed, it's not actually sealing this all the way off. All right, guys, we're going to try to start her up. We got the carburetor on there. We did have a big leak. The fuel hose that was on there, that was on the Lectron, was too big. The inside diameter was a little too big, so it was running everywhere. It was everywhere. So sorry I didn't film that, but that was exciting. All right, now I got to fiddle with the air screw, which is a giant pain in the butt to get to on this. That's way better. Right on, guys. Tide a little high, but we got her. I think we got her figured out. All right, guys, at the end of the week, end of the Shlog, thank you so much for joining me. If you stuck with this whole video and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do it now. We do lots of cool stuff. This is not the only kind of video we do. If you're new here, we do review videos of parts, review videos of bikes, bike builds. In fact, stay tuned. I'm about to start the next big bike build video, and I'm really excited about it, guys. Quick spoiler alert, we're going to be building the ultimate lightweight off-road weapon. I cannot wait. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to be aiming at something crazy fun and crazy light. I'm really excited about it, guys. So make sure you subscribe. That's going to get filmed. Hopefully start filming today. So you'll see it later. But anyway, I'm excited, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I desperately hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!